Hey Moonbeams on the popping in late in the evening. I hope you have made it a wonderful day. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. I appreciate you for being here. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe so that we will remain connected. Sidebar. I hope you've been remembering to take your meds to hydrate and to use sunscreen or any additional or alternative form of UV protection that you deem necessary. We have already reached our 90-degree day here in Phoenix, and it is just February. So the sunscreen is out and on, air conditioning and fans are running. It's been 5.5 weeks since I've had my right hip replacement surgery, and I am healing nicely according to my physical therapist. I'm doing 99% better than any patients that they've had prior to me. However, I did have a little bit of a setback last week. I didn't know I wasn't able to do it, and I attempted to pick up a case of water, and I strained a muscle in my groin area, which is still sensitive from the surgery, and it kind of made me do a back step, and I had to take off of physical therapy for a couple of days. I won't go back until next week, but they've been able to do a massage my scar. My scar is it has really healed a lot. The It's still raised and a little tender, but it's so much flatter than what it was. You know, when you first get that nasty scar and it's hard and chunky, but that's the swelling underneath. She massaged that out. I have a couple of different therapists, and the female one is she got down in that booty and she massaged it with a little spatula like a tool. It was flat so it could press and spread the any leftover inflammation. It was still a little tender in certain areas and made me say, okay, you can't do that yet. But the scar itself has healed so well. Just a little dark, and I don't know if I can get some kind of creams or something that would maybe like a scar cream. Somebody said, I think it was Moderna, something like that. I'm going to try and see, what. But I'd rather have natural stuff. I've been just putting a pure coconut oil on it, like the when it solidifies. I have a jar of that, and I put that on, massage it into my scar, and it feels a lot better than it did. I was really worried initially when I had the surgery because I was walking like, so unevenly, and that has really subsided. That was swelling, and I wasn't aware that it was going to be so awkward. So the improvements are extremely noticeable. The pain in my hip is nowhere near, I mean, it's gone. Now I just have surgery pain, and I know the difference. But it's also made me notice how uncomfortable or painful even my left hip is, because I wasn't able to lay on my sides for 4 weeks, and I've just started kind of lying on my left side. I can lie on my right side too, but that one feels more weird, and I'm a left side sleeper anyway. So it's just natural for me to roll to my left. I still have to put a pillow in between my legs and my knees, just to give me some support because of the groin. The groin from the beginning, or the beginning of my recovery after surgery, the groin has always been my most sensitive spot. They don't tell you about that. I was expecting, just the incision in the hip joint, but no, for me it was my groin that hurt the absolute most, and that is still the case. That's still the most uncomfortable part of my body, is still my groin, but it has significantly improved. It's just that little setback with me picking up that case of water. Now I know I just can't do that. But during my time off, or recovering rather, I have been binge watching shows or series that I've watched years ago, right? And I picked up three that I've already watched the entire seasons of, and I'm watching them again. One is Dexter. I will always and forever love Dexter. Dexter Morgan with his crazy ass. Let's just be clear. Dexter was a complete sociopath. He was insane. And what does it say about us when we were rooting for Dexter to win and to get away with it? What the heck? But Dexter is on Netflix. I think I'm only on season 2 with Dexter. We still haven't come to the ending of the ice truck killer, but we know who he is. So I won't give away any spoilers, but you know what? I don't even care if I give away spoilers. Dexter's been out long enough for them to make 2 damn sequels, a sequel and a prequel. So if you haven't watched Dexter by now, you deserve every damn spoiler I give you, or anyone gives you. Dexter gets away all the time, and at the end too. The second one I'm watching is Boardwalk Empire, about prohibition and the buildup of Atlantic City's boardwalk, starring Steve Buscemi. I fucking love Boardwalk Empire. I'm a Philly girl, and I spent time down Atlantic City and on the boardwalk, which is haunted, by the way. And when you watch shows like Boardwalk Empire, it makes you understand why it's haunted. So much murder, death, mayhem, destruction, corruption, everything negative, and water. And for those of us who are spiritual and we know about water, water holds memory. It makes perfect sense for Atlantic City to be haunted. But you know what? I digress. I'm going to go back to talking about the shows. The third one I'm watching. Oh, wait a minute. Back to Boardwalk Empire. Honey, I think I'm on season 4 now. And guess who just popped it on the scene? Dr. Narcisse. If you haven't seen Boardwalk Empire, watch it. It's on Cinemax. Or Max. They call it Max now. I think this is either either the second or the third time that I'm watching Boardwalk Empire. I almost want to say it's the second, but for some reason I think it's the third. Nevertheless, fantastic show. Love, love, love Steve Buscemi. I loved everything. Every character on that show I thought did a really good job. Love Richard Harrow. You gotta love Richard Harrow. Jimmy Darmody, I was sick of him. I was glad he was gone. It was messed up how he went, but it was more behind the scenes about that. I'm a movie nerd, film nerd, book nerd. I'm a nerd, and I know the background behind the departure of the character of James Darmody, and that was because he was a shitty actor who kept showing up late or intoxicated or just didn't know his line, just unprepared. He was very unprofessional, so they wrote him off the show. I loved his character, but it was some sickness with that shit with him and his mother having sexual relations. Yeah, you love. That was crazy. And on Boardwalk Empire, the guy Ron, I don't remember his last name, that takes down Jillian. Jillian was a victim. Let's just be clear. She was a victim, but it turned her crazy. Her trauma made her crazy. Her trauma did something to her. And as lovely as her voice was and as pleasant as her demeanor was, Jillian was fucking insane. And she got what she deserved. Even though you wanted to have a little bit of a pitter patter in your heart for her, Jillian got exactly what she deserved. And the other show I'm watching is one I've watched. I think this may only be the second time I'm watching it. It's so hokey. It's supernatural show. It's about vampires, the original vampires. It's called The Originals. It's about the original vampires of creation, right? And their story is that they were, their mother did some witchcraft or whatever and turned them into vampires. She was the witch. She was the world's strongest witch. She made them vampires. It was just a whole bunch of craziness. But it's the Michelson family, and they are in New Orleans with Klaus, the bastard son, and Elijah, who does this all the time. I bet you won't be able to watch originals again without ever seeing me do that, because every time I watch it, I just laugh. He's so funny, so corny, and I absolutely love the show because I believe in all of that. And the witchcraft part of it was really cool. And the vampires, I mean, they were vampires. They drank blood. The witchcraft was more interesting to me. The werewolves were interesting, but then you had the hybrids, which were the vampire werewolf combinations. It's hokey, but it's a good show. It's a good watch. You can watch it. It's along my daughter-in-law watches it, so that tells you. Oh no, I'm sorry, she didn't watch it. She watches stuff like Gossip Girl, and I think this was out around that time because she recognized one of the characters. I told her, I said, this would be a show you would like, and she recognized one of the characters, like, oh, he's in the show. She's in something I've already seen, so I knew she would like it. But it's a really good show. I mean, Rebecca, she was tortured, and I like how they integrated the two different Rebeccas, but one was because and there was some behind the scene nerdy stuff too, why they replaced her. The original Rebecca, I don't know if she, it was her request. That's why she stepped out and the other Rebecca replaced her. But it was at the request of the original Rebecca. I can't remember exactly what it is or was, so I don't want to misspeak. But that is what I have been doing since while recovering. And now I'm becoming more mobile and I'm getting out. I just told my grandchildren I want to get out and start walking in the neighborhood more. But it just started getting hot as hell over here in Phoenix. So I'll have to do it at 7 o'clock in the morning if I want to survive. But, I'm not an early riser anymore. I was never really an early riser. I was never really an early riser. The earliest I got up for work was 6:30, and I hated it. I hated that shit. I remember one year I prayed. I said, I don't ever want a job where I had to get up before 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I must have been born at night. I don't know what time I was born. But I'm going to order my genealogy, my birth certificate for genealogy, and I'll put the time of birth on it. But I feel like I was born at night because I have two children, two sons, and my oldest son was born at 12 something in the afternoon, between 12:20 and 12:30. That's all I remember. And he's not a morning person. He's an afternoon person. And my second son, my youngest son, was born at 1, 2, 3, 4. And I won't forget that. He was born at 12:34 a.m. He's a morning person. He is an early bird. Me, I must have been born straight at night because I don't like to get up in the morning. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble, y'all. I just wanted to just tell you what I was doing and what I was up to and the progress that I have made since my surgery on my hip replacement. So thank you for listening to me ramble, and let me know if you've watched any of these shows. Boardwalk Empire, Dexter, or The Originals. Peace, love, and blessings. Luna out.